Hi, it's Sonia, and welcome back to my YouTube art channel. Today, the beginning of the week, I thought I would, before I tidy up a load of sketchbooks and books that I took along to the workshop this weekend, I thought I would sort of go through that workshop with you in case there's some helpful, some tips to start your week, make work as you maybe listen. As I say, I'll be showing some sketchbooks, but I've shown them before. So this is just about the topic for a couple of my drawing workshops. One was on abstract art, just drawing ideas, and we completed, I sort of aimed for people to make a grid of marks in that workshop. And then the second one in the afternoon, I also decided to do abstract mark making, but like, could people put it into scenes, landscapes from memory, or memory drawings as well? How do we use, because I wanted people to, I know for some people it comes maybe easily, it's what they gravitate towards, but I also know other people do need some instruction or a starting point. And so, yeah, basically, also I want to share this workshop with you because I did actually put quite a lot of effort into preparing for it. And at the venue, it was great fun, but the acoustics weren't great. So I kind of sort of thought to myself, I'm only going to talk for 10 to 15 minutes at the start and then let people get on with it. Because it was hard to, it was in a coffee shop with coffee being ground and music and stuff. I sort of did probably shorten it. So I thought, this is a good way of giving you an abstract workshop for free. So these are my ideas. So basically, as per usual, I did a mind map just to, as a visual aid for people, and maybe it's a bit of a visual aid. Some of this I have been before. Why do I like abstract art? My why. I love it because basically it gives me such freedom of expression. There's such variety within it. For some people that might be scary, but I think once we get a little bit assured in our art practice, I think we might want to push our creativity a bit further. I find it, if I'm going to look at art as therapy, I really do find abstract art very therapeutic. I love, for example, I'm going to show you this. This is one of my favourite works on paper. I've shown it before, but there's something about it. I feel like I'm able to tap into feelings and mood more. I love, sometimes if we're doing traditional landscape, we're a little bit, the sky is blue. We're not, obviously you can do expressionistic landscapes, but you're not limited. You can go with the colours you're feeling that day. I kind of talked about, what I'd say here is, Rothko and the dark colours, blacks, if you're feeling, or identify what colours, maybe not, black may not feel necessarily depressing and dark to everybody. So yeah, you get to go with if you love colour, I think abstracts are great fun and abstract mark making. I also like the sort of, and within that, this is related, the exposed hidden essence of it, because you get to sort of release your feelings, but I don't know that anyone else will identify that from your particular drawing exercise. Now I can see when I did this, I know what I was feeling and I'm happy to share. I think this is my sort of when life is very chaotic and I want to slow down and I sort of need to I'm kind of like, I know what I'm feeling. Someone else, though, gets to project their feelings onto a piece of art. And that's another reason I've talked about why I love abstract art, because being able to we can. When I see Agnes Martin, I personally think I'm probably getting stuff out of a particular painting that someone else may not have the same feelings as me. Okay, and then there's play. We've got the element of play. And I'm going to show you this piece. This, for me, was complete play because these were some water. I can't remember the brand, but I had some water. They were brush pens with paint in them, and I didn't love them. And I sort of ended up experimenting with them, like dipping them in water and then trying to get the last paint out. They weren't great, but I really like this piece. This sort of has a sort of a Louise Bourgeois or more, sort of the inks running into each other. So I'm going to keep that for my own reference. But that was play. And I think it goes on to be able to, my why is also, it has influenced and it has impacted my realistic art. I think for me in positive ways. It's helped me, you know, get sort of energized again with some of my sort of more even realistic landscapes, portraits. I think I'm putting my own spin on them, but adding different marks. So inspiration for abstract art, I think, as we know, probably been through this before, but you've got the history of it, you've got pattern, nature, museums, galleries. I love to go to books personally, and then our own surroundings. Like yesterday, if I were to, probably maybe tomorrow morning, I haven't really got around to art yet, but I will probably maybe try and go into my memory of that particular sort of warehouse. Sort of, it was in Fort Mason in San Francisco, and it was very, you know, sort of the ceilings, maybe there'll be some straight lines. Like, you can go into where you're at, you could draw on scene, but do an abstract if you hate doing urban sketching. So yeah, there's all sorts of inspiration, I think, as well for abstract art. So going on a little bit more into the play exploration side of things, if we're a bit stuck, old sketches can be used for source, and therefore you could look at you'll get to reuse your old landscape work and maybe have a go at turning them into sort of abstracted landscapes, but they're still going to have a bit of significance for you. Maybe you get to put a little bit more of the mood through colour choices and the atmosphere you felt into these pieces. On an individual level, this is all about your experience in the process, and you need to, I think we all need to, this is something I tried to spell out to people at the workshop. Tap into I was sort of like, please don't feel you have to show your work, so I did sort of walk around, but keep it secret if you must, or want to, because this is about you. What do you enjoy, as opposed to what do you think you should be enjoying in a process? And yeah, Mark, the most important thing for me, if I was gonna again do a workshop for someone, it's about let's go back to basics, let's play with mark making. That's the essence of it. So yeah, I mean, you've got dashes, dots, lines, shapes, contrast as well if you're using different sort of colours and you can get different tones. Minimal versus maximalist, I talk about that an awful lot, but for me, I just love the fact I can tap into days when I want to create space in a page, and other days I just want it cluttered and I want it chaotic. And yeah, you've got, in terms of materials, anything can sort of go. You can be very graphic and, you know, choose maybe acrylic markers, so you've got quite sharp outlines, or you can do soft blending with some smudging, some oil pastels or paints. Personally, I like mixed media. At the workshop venue, we had some sort of, obviously, budget supplies. It's like kids supplies, but you can start off with kids supplies. Personally, I think you want to get the best out of, with anything, some of the mid-range ones I find probably a bit more satisfying. But yeah, but those kids, there was some of those kids tempera sticks. I mean, that's fine. And the oil, I used Pentel oil pastels, and I can show you. Hold on, where is that page? I completed. Actually, there is a. This roll was, I got this idea off my friend from university. I remember once I was on a train with him. He had a massive roll of paper with physics equations on. I was like, oh, that's a really good way of transporting your. Oh no, I don't have it. But I did do. Oh, hold on, here it is. Yes, so this page, this is I've got a video on the Joy of Drawing site, and I did this in real time. It took me 10 minutes. I've added this tissue paper on right at the end because I just wanted to play about. I kind of liked that. But the idea here being, you know, this is just a marker, Sharpie marker. I've got, I think I used, I don't know what that is actually, oil pastel, just pens. And yeah, I've chosen a few of my sort of favourite quotes for I guess inspiration. For example, Louise Bourgeois, she had a daily drawing practice, and I was looking at some of her drawings actually, and she put, drawings are thought feathers. They are the ideas that I seize in mid-flight and I put down on on paper. I should probably restart that, but anyway, you can read it there. But I love that quote. I thought that was rather nice, the idea of just plucking things out from, and you can do it quickly and move on, but you're tapping into the moment. David Hockney, drawing helps you to put your thoughts in order. It can make you think in different ways. So I think a lot of us who love drawing, I think that resonates because, I definitely feel there's, so as I go on to, this is another example, I'm just using one pen. I feel for me that there's certain marks, a lot of artists talk about this, the repetition can sort of like reduce anxiety. Different marks sort of make me feel, or when I look at them, also sort of I associate with different states of mind, and maybe it is helping me put my thoughts in order. I often feel a little bit better for sort of getting out some marks on paper. Then there's this exercise I feel like is a really common one everyone knows in sort of abstract drawing or just doodling. Just make a shape but then fill it in. So the fun you could have here is it's like a puzzle, isn't it? You could put all these different marks into it, different colours. So many ways it's like possibilities, isn't it? For probabilities. There are endless ways of mixing that exercise up. I think we're kind of all familiar with the Paul Klee quote on drawing. The drawing is simply a line going for a walk. I like that because it just makes it so approachable. When everybody gets a bit like, oh, I can't draw, and I understand that critical. Obviously, we all have that sort of, some days, that negative voice in our head. Well, if you look upon it, you're just going for a little bit of exercise for a walk. Just have to flick that out of the way. Why not? Then I wanted to, for beginners, I like to think about some very easy colour exercises, just grabbing, and I saw actually, it was really lovely to see. I'm not even sure I got, because as I say, it was hard to fully talk through a lot of my ideas and tips, but I saw a kid, and there were kids at the workshop, and she was just doing that. She was just grabbing colours of a similar palette and just putting them next to each other, and it was really lovely to see. It was really lovely to see what I said to her. I said, I might nick some of your I might nick that colour palette. It looks really nice together with sort of like purples and blues. Okay, so yeah, and with it, I also think you could do different exercises, do a sort of a mood exercise. One of the ones that I try and do from time to time is break. I guess I have an intrinsic colour taste, but I want to sometimes rebel and go against that. So I will try and pick out colours that I know I'm not going to like together, just to see maybe I might do, or what happens. Will it be jarring or boring? How do I feel when two colours are particularly next to each other? Play with materials and their properties. So, we might have water-soluble crayons, but a lot of the time I was beginning to notice that I just use them as crayons, the Neo 2, the Caran d'Ache Neon 2 crayons. And yet they are water-soluble. So I was like, why am I not sometimes just, I have been more, to be fair to me, making them into sort of like a gouache paint. And then if you don't like, I always say, because I'm always a bit worried that people who get at a workshop are going to make a page of work and they're like, oh gosh, this is horrible, this is why I don't like art. But what I wanted to show here is, even with the most terrible drawing, cut it out, maybe only cut it into 3 bits, and if you stick it on top of a contrasting paper, I think you get quite a fun effect. So yeah, some more ideas here for, these are where I go to when I need to make some work and I'm feeling not stuck, but I have to go back to this sort of list of ideas. Limitations. I love things in 3, so you can limit yourself. And I've seen this lots on YouTube. I know this is nothing new, but I have to remind myself. 3 materials. So limit, like I might get a pen, a crayon, a paint, or 3 colours, but use the same material. Go small. I think maybe I'm wrong, a little bit of association with abstract art in these sort of big old canvases. I guess that was my first exposure to it, maybe Jackson Pollock or an abstract painting at the Tate. And yet we don't have to, we can go tiny. So again, for a demonstration, I took along this is an old painting underneath. I covered it with acrylic ink, and then I've gone on top with playing about actually with those acrylic markers that I made did a video on in my last video. So, but this is small and doable, so I can fit that into like 5 minutes. Reassemble old work, cut up, so rearrange it as squares or use it for collage material, do some collage. Look in the recycling bin. Paper, this is parcel paper, and I love the sort of this tan colour. Labels, magazines. Draw to music, memory or atmosphere. and dreams. It's funny, but I was talking to my youngest niece, talking through his dream, and I think one night I had a dream as well before. Anyway, a few nights ago, and I was thinking what came out of it. So I can't really remember it, but there was like a mist. So, and I kind of like that as a word as well. And I sort of saw these sort of curved, dashy shapes, and I could see a drawing in my head. I haven't got around to doing it, but in my head, that's where I'd go with it. Symbols. I mean, that's meant to be my drawing of a tooth. It doesn't even look like a tooth, so you could abstract some of those real houses, drawing those symbols from dreams. And then my last point, which was quite fun, I did this actually in the kitchen before I left to the workshop with my husband and kids. I was saying, well, some about random words, but I think with the random word generator, you have to be a bit careful because some words just don't really do it for me when they come up. But I tried to do a bit of alliteration. Choose, I don't know, I went with M, and I sort of, words that were shouted out were magical. As I say, I came up with mist, melancholy, moody. Maths is quite a good one to get you started in abstract because of all the geometric shapes. You've got your pluses and your minuses, your division sign. Make that into an abstract. Someone came up with menace. That's quite an interesting one. Mournful. I like that word, mournful. And then, yeah, lastly, I wanted to share the whole reusing your drawing. So draw over old art. So there's lots of layering going on in this. This is sort of my example piece I don't care too much for, so I was happy to glue it down. And yeah, so you got dots, but I kind of like, you can see some little tiny, a very 0.005 fine liner, and it's just grown with some splodges of kids' materials as well, and even some smearing of paint. Okay, and then I wanted to, the other thing too, so this is my, as I say, if I had to do a beginner's workshop on abstract drawing, this is it. But let's quickly, to end this video, I just wanted to show some of the illustrations of this, how it's come into other work. First of all, pure abstract. And I also shared this, I wanted to share this sketchbook. This one is actually not finished because it is just an old sort of maths or an old squared notebook. So if you're really timid about using your materials, why not start with something you already have and just have it as a bit of an everyday doodle journal. And then these are in no particular order. In terms of how has it come into my other work, I remembered this sketchbook, which I've shown before, but I think you can see, like I was trying to point out, that I feel like I've got more expressive with mark making. Here, for example, this was, I think one of these were drawn upside down, practiced upside down drawing. It's from a very old painting. I've completely sort of stylized it my way. But I think if you look at the strong stripes going on and these I feel much more confident in having fun with different marks, playing around, even when I'm trying to practice more traditional drawing. So I wanted to share that sketchbook. And then I have got, I also shared for anyone, I've got sketchbook tools on these, but this is obviously an altered sketchbook, so covering up, if you're ever starting off with an altered book is a good way of getting going, because you've got to cover up the page, so that gets the white, you haven't got the fare of the white page, and then you can add, so some of these pages have got, for example, this page, I love this page, but just repetitive abstract drawing on top of this metallic wash. And yeah, then into landscapes. I can't, as I say, it's all on my desk. So I've got these sketchbooks out because these are the ones I took, and then I'm going to tidy up after all of this. But this page, I think, illustrates me playing about. This sketchbook allowed me to get looser in some ways, and I've played about with a lot of, I think, abstract mark making, even though I think there's still the sense, it's still a landscape. I've kept a sort of the green or that neon, but yeah, but it's coming into my other work as well in a big way. I think it's freed me up, and I think I personally, for example, this landscape here, I think it makes me more interested in doing more realistic work still. And I sometimes like my more playful sketches better, like the really haphazard ones where I've just gone a bit crazy with it. So yes, and then just 2 more things. Yeah, I think this is one which is about also, sometimes I will recycle, get rid of work. Other times I will push and push and push, and this could go further, but this is one that has got so many layers on and I haven't enjoyed it. But just simple collage and going on top with some more marks has allowed, I don't know, it's got to a stage which I do actually quite like it. And just to say, I do have, I can't find, I feel like I've got, is it the kids say, call it, or people say I'm main character syndrome. I made this all about me, but I did also share one of my favourite drawing books that I love to go back to, Ways of Drawing. I find that because it's drawing for me, I don't know, I think it's where I sometimes prefer, I need to get back to work on canvas, but I love drawing. And this page, this double page spread I shared by the who is this? Overleaf, Karen Maple, Roots. This is watercolour on paper, but here, this was for me, I wanted to show this as an illustration to people who are attending, because I think it shows, it's drawing, you can see there's well, it's very interesting. You want to sort of follow your eye, gets taken everywhere, that wall and then the gate, but within it, look at all the marks. And yeah, I feel for me, just doing concentrated abstract drawing has allowed my mark making to allowed me to get to know what I like. Finally, I have another workshop coming up with The Joy of Drawing. I think it's the 16th of April. It's on their site, on the workshops. I'll try and link it. And I'm going to be doing, I think it's called Paint Your Favourite Landscape. But my idea basically is to try and share my process of gouache painting, landscapes, favourite landscapes. So this is my sort of, I haven't finished it. I need to get back to this book. But this is going to be sort of my own sort of memory, roll down memory lane of a road trip as a family we did a couple of years ago now. And I always start with gouache. But why is this relevant to abstract drawing? Because hopefully, maybe you can see, I can certainly see that I am bringing in more dashes and playing around with colour on these gouache, primarily gouache sketches. This is Prismacolor pencil I tend to go on top with, and actually sometimes I do, so I'm looser, I'll use Neocolor 2 crowns as well. And I also do try and just use a fine brush, which is the one I really love. Hold on. But yeah, I think hopefully it's obvious you can see where, and I've shown this one before. There's this one I love. I think I got the colours here. There's something about the colours and there's little bits of turquoise, and yeah, it's these little odd snippets of lines. But obviously I haven't gone too detailed. It's sort of like I'm going to have to try and share how, and you can do these sketches. I think will be doable in it's a 2-hour workshop, but I think I can get a piece like this finished for me in about, I'd say 30 to 40 minutes is my sweet spot. Depends how detailed the picture is. Okay, thank you for watching my video. As I say, I just thought I've got this workshop material out, so I just thought, why don't I share it with you guys? Because I know obviously different people, it's hard sometimes for people to attend workshops in person, and this allows you also just for you to be getting on with your own work while I sort of what's the word, blather, that's not being very nice to myself, while I talk through it again. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.